Good evening. My name's Tony Corman. I'm the Director of Code Compliance. So not quite as many people as we had here this morning. We had actually a full house this morning. So we're just going to go over some changes in the ordinance, introduce a few people, let them tell you what they're going to do during the, this season. I'm going to introduce a few people, and then I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Larkins, Frank Larkins. This is our new beach code manager. And he'll tell you a little bit about himself and, tell you about what he's going to be doing. So we got Corey Summers. Does everybody know Corey? And Andrew Underwood. These are your two evening shift supervisors. So Andrew works Sunday through Wednesday. Did I get that right? And Corey works Wednesday through Saturday. So it's 7 days a week. So Andrew will be the one you deal with on Sunday through Wednesday if you have any issues in the evening, and Corey will be the one you deal with on Wednesday through Saturday. So they're well capable of handling it, so reach out to them if you need to talk to them about anything. We're also going to have beach ops come up and talk to you. We're going to have the South Walton Fire District come up and talk to you, and we also have a couple of our beach stewards here. We're very thankful for them. They help us out a lot. The cases for glass, tents, those types of things are reduced drastically when they're out there on the beach. So we appreciate the board letting us have them back. And Andrea and Ashley does a great job out there, so we appreciate them. So without any further ado, we're going to let Mr. Larkins come up here and tell you a little bit about himself and tell you what we're doing today.
All right. Thank you, sir. Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Before I get started, I wanted to share some information with you. I know the boss had mentioned our supervisors, so I wanted to provide their contact information because we did that during this morning. I got it. That's why I'm here, sir. All right, so for Andrew Underwood, his number for those that would like to have that is 850-401-8640. And for Corey Summers, 850-635? Okay, 635-5947. 5947. All right. So again, as the boss had mentioned, my name is Frank Larkins. I am the new beach code manager here. Don't have any real code history background, if you will, but I do have code background, all right? And what I mean by that is I'm prior military. I did about 28 years in the Air Force. Core aircraft maintenance was my experience, logistics, operations, and all of that. But I know people. All right, most of my time has just been people and serving people and working with them. And so, again, I'm very excited about the opportunity. I'm looking back here because, to me, all of those chairs are full. All right, so don't think I'm just losing my mind, but I'm just looking at people right now. But, again, I am really excited. As I was processing it all from this morning, I'm fearfully excited. You know what they say, you be afraid of the unknown. This is my first season. I don't know what I don't know what to expect, but I'm excited for it all. I really am. Today, we do have some guest speakers that are going to come before you. We're going to have beach ops. We're going to have Mr. Josh Irvin, I believe, representing beach ops. Turtle Watch, I believe we have Miss Lacey.
I don't think so.
Maybe not. Okay. And for lifeguard and safety, we're going to have Mr. David Vaughn and Officer Sammy Sanchez speaking on that. And then behind that, code compliance will come and we'll close it out for you, okay? I do have my my officers here, my supervisors, so if you have any questions, by all means, please reach out and, ask those questions, as well as our steward team here. We couldn't do it without beach stewards, and so again, we're going to have a moment to kind of talk what their efforts and impacts are to what it is that we do. So with no further ado, I'm going to open it up to beach ops.
Thank you, Frank. Josh Irvin, Director of Beach Operations. So just a few things that I would like to highlight and ask of the vendors. You know, we also work 7 days a week like our code compliance partners. We have a similar shift arrangement Sunday through Wednesday, Wednesday through Saturday. So as you're out on the beach providing your services, if you see something that needs attention, by all means, please reach out to us. The easiest way is to reach us at our number, 850-267-4578. If we do not answer for whatever reason, there is a voice messaging service there where you can leave a message, and rest assured that message will get to whomever it needs to get to. A couple of things that I would like to remind each of you about is the issue that we continue to have with bonfire debris, specifically as it relates to either being placed in our bag holder or being left on the beach. Along with that, the skewers that go along with the bonfire seem to be an ongoing problem where they stick out of the bag and then our crew ends up getting poked with them and then we have injuries and all that kind of stuff. So the code does require the vendor to remove garbage as it relates to the vending service. So I always like to remind each of you every year about that requirement. We want to work with you, and that's really all that we ask, is that you work with us and try to minimize those impacts and those injuries. We have a lot of walkovers where the staff have to walk up and down each of those, and so those bonfire remnants obviously add a lot of weight to those bags that are already heavy. So another thing that I did not mention this morning, and I'm glad that someone asked the question, I believe Mr. Gainey did, we are nearing completion of the new regional beach access in Seagrove Regional Beach Access, as it will be called. We were hoping to have that thing open on March the 1st, but we are still completing some permitting requirements with FDEP before we can attain those certificates of completion. So it's my hope that the first part of March is when we will open that facility. That will bring, which you'll learn here in a little while, a new lifeguard tower. So we're really excited about that project. You know, that's a project that started back in 2018. It's taken somewhat 8 years, I guess, to get to the finish line. So excited to see that. The other thing also we are working on is rebranding our beach signage. There was a request some years ago about a numbering system being added to those signs. We are in the process of getting those signs installed, starting out on the east end of the county. So up at the top now, the dome is what we call it, is the Sunwave logo. We're going to be changing that to a number. So starting on the east, working to the west, starting with number 1 on the east, ending with whatever that number is on the west. You'll see that sequential number being added. The actual sign itself will still contain the 911 address. So you'll have both options. If someone's on the beach, they can refer to access number 1. As I understand, the 911 dispatch center at the sheriff's office has the address matched with that beach access location. But if someone wanted to provide the 911 address, that's certainly appropriate as well. But that is something that we're working on. And hopefully we'll have the first 3 beach access locations replaced here in the next week or so. But other than that, have some exciting news to share about our transportation improvements that we're having go live here March the 1st. So with that, I'm going to ask Tabby to come and present that.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. So you guys might have seen tram buses out and about. We've been doing some practice runs. We've had some signage that has been installed at the new tram stops. So on March 1st, which is this Sunday, we will be rolling out 3 additional routes, which will provide access to Blue Mountain, Gulfview Heights, Edwalline, Fort Panic, and Dune Allen via either the Grayton Beach parking lot or the 393 parking lot. And so the way that we've set this program up is you can park in either one and reach any of the stops. So it is a connected system. I did put some cards on the table out front here. If you guys need any more, just let me know. And that does have a QR code. It links to our website, waltontransportation.com, which has an interactive map, all of the new routes, and our contact information. So if you guys need anything, my number's on that card. Just give me a call. Yeah. The new routes will run 10 to 7, and that's going to be 7 days a week. Yeah. All right. Anything else? Thank you, guys.
Lacey's not here, so.
My name is David Vaughn. I'm the Beach Safety Director for the South Walton Fire District. I see a couple of vendors here. Any of you new and have not dealt with me before? Okay, so, all right, welcome. Our lifeguards are going to be out starting March 1st. We're already out there right now because we do run full-time year-round, but we're going to be putting our towers back out on the 1st. We will have the new Seagrove Regional Beach Access opening as soon as they tell us we can be there. We'll be there. We're ready to go. We picked up 4 new contracts with private entities this last year. Alice Beach, Water Sound, Seaside, and Watercolor. So we have better coverage and our footprint has expanded, especially on the east side. We're going to be out there from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. with our seasonal lifeguards. We'll have supervisory patrols that'll be out there sometimes as early as 7 and basically till dark to respond to any after-hours calls. For the vendors, we don't expect you to get out into the water and perform water rescues. I know a lot of the vendors have either former lifeguards or watermen, and I'm never going to tell you you can't do something, but we don't expect you to do anything other than keep eyes on the last known location of a swimmer in distress. If they should they submerge, keep an eye on that spot, call 911, and give us the best location and description you can. That is our big ask on that. All right? We don't expect you to put yourself in harm's way. The one non-negotiable that I am pretty insistent and unapologetic for is that we need you guys to keep those emergency vehicle accesses clear. So wherever you can get vehicle access on and off the beach, not even for 2 minutes, don't block it to unload your stuff. Because Murphy's Law, the maxim that anything that can go wrong will, dictates that as you're doing that, we're going to get a call that involves a life-threatening situation where we're going to need to access on or off that beach. And so we're pretty adamant, and that is the unreasonable demand that we make, is that you do not block that at any time, no matter the direness of your vending needs. So I don't mean to diminish that, but that's a non-negotiable for us. We're going to be hard on that. Down just slightly from that is we also need a passable corridor to get those emergency vehicles to traverse the beach. I understand, we've got 15, by ordinance, we've got 15 foot at the water line, and we've got 15 foot at the toe of the dune. But I understand, especially on the east side of the county, you may not even have 30 feet total beach by the time we get things underway, right? So, given that, we just need your help being reasonable, that when you see us coming, that you help us get that area clear. We know that people's sense of urgency when other people are having emergency can be somewhat diminished sometimes, and we have to be patient with that because we can't create more victims by just plowing through people, right? So we need your help with that. And I told the crowd this morning, I saw a lot of familiar faces of people I've been dealing with for over a decade. We haven't had a problem with any of the vendors in over 5 years. You guys, we've got a great working relationship. I let my people bury into their area and get to know you guys. I encourage you guys to interact with my guys. If you ever see any of my people behaving untowardly or anything, please reach out to me directly. Do either of you vendors not have my number or my contact information? All right. I'm easy to find. Look us up. I'll spit out my phone number for public record's sake if you need to re-refer to this. It's area code 850-803-2601. I will take calls after hours. Call me if you need me. Last bit of it is double red flag conditions. By ordinance, you guys are required to match our flags. I'm going to give you a quick logistic breakdown of I can change it online in a matter of seconds. It does take us about over the 26 miles to change the approximately 30 flagpoles. Sometimes it can take us up to an hour and a half. I try to mobilize, depending on the situation, and there are two sides to every coin. Long story short, I get complaints whether I change it online too fast and then the physical flags have to catch up, or we start changing the physical flags first before we've done it online. I'm going to get complaints from people who are going to point out that it doesn't match. That's just reality. Even with full mobilization, it can take me up to an hour and a half to change from, yellow to red or from double red back down to red, okay? So if you haven't signed up to the text messaging program, you need to. Is anyone here not involved in that? Okay, so if you're already getting the daily texts, you know that when we've gone from red to double red, when we've degraded, conditions have degraded, you will get an alert. We need you to change your private flags as soon as possible to match that, all right? And on the flag conversation understand that when we've gone into double red flags, I don't take that lightly. You're going to get customer complaints. You're going to maybe even have your own personal feelings about it. Feel free to call me and we can have that discussion. If you're getting customer complaints, send them my way. I will filibuster them all day. I've got my reasons. It is when it has become unreasonable for anyone to be in that water. And when I have to tell people no, that they can't enjoy what they came down here to do, we take that very seriously, because when I go double red flags, I need you all to understand that I am mobilizing these resources, WIXO's resources. We are in full go mode, and we don't do it for fun. We don't take it lightly. The problem comes when we've had to have a string of days where people get fatigued, psychologically fatigued at being told no. They've spent their time and money, they're here, and they're ready to not be told no. The problem for us is when we come off of double reds, even into day 3 or 4, the conditions will look better, but those trenches are dug out and those rips are ripping still. And it becomes more dangerous because people are agitated, frustrated, and fed up. So when we come off of double red down to single red, people in their mind psychologically immediately think, that means it's safe, let's go. That's when we get most of our deaths and water rescues, is when we're coming off of double reds, right? So we need you to be mindful of that. Back to the beginning of the conversation, be ready to call 911. Don't call your buddy lifeguard. I want you guys to have good personal relationships and communicate at will, however you see fit on a day-to-day operational casual basis, but when it comes to emergencies, 911 is where you go quickly. Just give us an accurate description and address so that we can get there as quickly as possible, okay? All right, I'll end it with, do you have any questions for me? All right, thank you for your time. No. That's a great question. Everywhere but Rosemary and Seaside Watercolor. We're gonna hold off there for a few days and see what the spring break, well, so that first week, we're not expecting huge crowds. Starting March 7th, all the way through April 19th, we're expecting the crazy. So we're gonna audible that one. We're gonna kind of see how it goes. We'd like to be able to put them out as soon as possible, and we may resort to just chaining them up to the boardwalks. We've got all kinds of tricks, but drunk, motivated people can do damage no matter what. So if they're out there, they're an attractive nuisance, and people like to make them an easy target and playground. So we've learned some hard lessons 2 years ago. For the last 2 years, we haven't deployed the towers for the first through spring break, and that's caused its own set of problems. So we're really kind of late in the game, kind of deciding where we want to put them, do we want to put them out, and so we'd like to put them out, but we are reserving the right to go ahead and withhold them and go with the straight roving patrol to begin things. It's a great question. Thank you for asking. All right. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Sammy Sanchez, Fire Marshal, South Walton Fire District. What is the fire marshal doing at a beach vendor meeting? Good question. We oversee the bonfire permitting and have for the past 12 years? No, since 2010, 11, somewhere in that time frame. So, and it's evolved. So what I want to go over is a couple of things that have changed with our agency and with the process. And then I've also got some information that I think is very important for beach vendors to be aware of some information or some happenings that might be coming down the pike. So bonfires, 2024, we issued 9,211 temporary bonfires and 3,162 annual. In 2025, we issued 9,799 bonfires and 3,172 annual permits. So it's pretty consistent. June, July, and August, believe it or not, are peak months for bonfires. I don't understand that, but that's when people tend to get them the most. And when they call or email, they'll reach out to Julie Clark. She's been handling bonfires for several years now, and I've got another customer service specialist that was here this morning. Her name is Kelsey. She's new. Please don't beat her up too much. I need to keep her. And we've made some adjustments to the website. We hear every year that the website is lacking, and we understand that. It's just a process trying to find a company that can build a good website for all the nuances that bonfires deliver, and it's been difficult. But we have made some adjustments to it. We've reduced the number of people that are on the site now, so we hope that speeds up the program. And then we changed the start time. We heard a lot of complaints about people having to stay up past midnight to get a bonfire, to be the first to get that bonfire. So we changed it to 8 a.m. So we hope that was helpful. A couple of things that changed in the ordinance is now you can get a propane bonfire. Before it was all wood, and now you can get the option of a propane, but there are fees associated with that. the fees for the wood bonfires have gone up. They went from $100 to $150, and then the propane is $100. Keep in mind that that money is split between South Walton Fire District and Walton County. And for the record, we did not increase our fees. So you can do the math there, but that we do collect the fees for both agencies and have been for some time. There is, and I think you're going to cover it in the ordinance, some of the changes, and one of them is fire extinguishers. So we'll go over that in a second. One of the other things that we implemented was notification process through Everbridge. It's a program. So if you're a beach bonfire vendor and you need to make sure we have your correct email address and phone number, so that way when we have to shut down bonfires for whatever conditions, you'll receive an email, a text, and a phone call. So if you're not receiving that, it's because we don't have your proper information, because all that is implemented in that program, and it's as simple as pushing a button and that message gets sent out. As a matter of fact, we sent one out Monday. So if you didn't receive it, please let me know after today, and we'll make sure that you get on there. And then the last thing I've got is really the most important thing that I wanted to talk about today. On February 9th, 2026, Governor DeSantis issued an executive order and declared a state of emergency due to the increased drought and wildfire occurrences for all 67 counties. So what does that mean? We'll see all those red spots on that map, the state of Florida. Those are all counties that have enacted a burn ban. The long-range forecast is not looking good for the state of Florida, including Northwest Florida. So currently, right now, as you can see, we're in the blue, and then the rest of the state is mishmash of colors. But let me go over what you're looking at there. That's called the KBDI Drought Index, or Keach-Bynum Drought Index, and this measures how dry soils and surface fuels are, and that helps determine wildfire risk. The scales range from 0, indicating wet soil, to 800. Well, we're right now like in the 200s, which is good. The rest of the state is somewhere around 600 or 700, which is bad. Currently, our conditions do not warrant going into a burn ban, so I want to be very clear that you understand that. I want you to leave here and say, Fire Marshal said we're going to burn ban. We are not. The conditions don't warrant it right now. But I'm mentioning this all to you because the long-range forecast, again, is not looking good. They are actually anticipating that we get into drought conditions. The bad thing is we don't know how long it's going to last. Usually in the past, drought conditions have lasted anywhere between 7 to 14 days. Then it's lifted. We get enough appreciable rain. Everything looks to be okay, but they don't really have an idea this time, and that's the scary part. And that's the reason I thought it was important that you guys are aware of that, especially if your livelihood is on that beach conducting bonfires. So, again, the Walton County Fire Council is meeting weekly on this, so it's not like we're not concerned about it. We're meeting weekly, and any changes, we're certainly tracking this, and if it gets to that point, they will present that to the Board of County Commissioners, and at that point, the Board of County Commissioners can enact that burn ban. One more time. We're in the 200s. We're still good right now, but there's always risk for fire danger, right? And even though the conditions don't warrant the burn ban, we're still asking everybody to be a little bit safe. Now, what does that mean if we're in a burn ban? That means that you're not going to get a bonfire permit. That's really what I'm trying to get at. Long story, but I want you to be aware of where it's coming from and where it's headed. Again, if there's any changes, we will certainly let everybody know. But as of right now, as of today, we seem to be in good condition, and keep praying that we stay in those weather conditions. So at this point, I'll be happy to take any questions on it over anything I've covered. Yeah, it's a better crowd than it was last year. Thank you. And I'll be sitting up here if you think of something between now and the time this meeting is over. So, thank you.
All righty. Well, good afternoon again, and thank you all for sharing with us. I want to preface our portion of this, and I trust that everybody got a copy of the ordinance. Okay. So on the first page, it says, "Now therefore, be it ordained by the Walton County Board of County Commissioners." And I wanted to start with that because, again, with all of the information that we've already heard and been provided to you, code compliance comes in a way of support, all right? And we're here to support and enforce, educate first, but enforce the laws or the ordinances that our county commissioners have put forward. And so, again, I want to thank you guys in advance right now, but thank you in advance for supporting all of what we are doing here to, again, maintain this place to be, I would say, to me, it's a choice, a destination of choice, to be honest with you. But again, I want to say thank you guys in advance for supporting all of what code compliance is doing here. And with no further ado, I wanted to move forward into our next slide. Previous year trends. We wanted to start with this, and I consider this to be kind of an open book test, if you will. Wanted to start off with what we were looking like previous year. So 2024 or 2024, 2025. The takeaway for me from this slide here is one, fire, right? And we're already talking about drought, but fires. Fire was our leading, I would say our leading case driver, if you will. 2024, we had approximately 7,100 cases, and then in 2025, 1,180, 840, if you will, but approximately 66% increase. The other takeaway, I would say, would be the next one, which is glass and ceramic containers. And as you can see, that was probably one of the largest, largest delta, if you will, and that was approximately 933, a 58% decline. And as I alluded to earlier, our beach stewards, I attribute most of that to our beach stewards, okay, and all of what they do, all right? When it comes to patrolling the areas, informing our guests, if you will. But again, we have a 66% decline in glass and ceramic containers on the beach. But again, this is just an open book test here, if you will. But 2025, we had a total of 7 suspensions. And I'm sure we probably had a few more than that. But even here, you can see our leading driver here is failure to clean up remnants. And I know Mr. Urban had mentioned that, he alluded to that piece. But again, that following our bonfire and all of what we do here on the beach, we just got to clean as we go, All right, and that is all of what code will be enforcing. And again, I want to thank you guys in advance for supporting us on that. But any questions about our trends, our previous year trends? Any questions about our stewards, beach stewards, and what they're doing? No, okay, we'll move on. All right, so the intent of these slides is not to, again, pigeonhole us to reading slide verbatim here. However, it is to kind of give us something to think about as we walk through the ordinance and all of the changes within the packet that you all have in front of you. All right, excuse me. But changes to the ordinances here, my intent here is to go walk you all through page by page, if you will, on all of the changes so that when we do leave, we're all on the same page. We're all clear on what the expectations are. We're clear on what the ordinances are, okay? And if there's any questions, we don't want anybody to leave here with a question unanswered, all right? So that is the goal of this briefing. But change in wording, as you can see, per ordinance here. Time of expiration on dog permits, we'll cover that. Location of overnight camping, we'll cover that. Inclusion of all parts of a tent, all right. Prohibition of altering vehicle permits. Timing of lottery selection, expiration date of vehicle permits, and so on and so forth. So, excuse me. Next slide. And then bonfires is a big one. All right. That's the big one. Hopefully, again, the drought does not take us out of business. I truly understand business, and I respect the business of it all. But again, even when we meet that part of the season, if it gets to that point, again, that's when we're really going to need the support, all right? Really going to need your support. And then special events here, Memorial Day to Labor Day, special events prohibited between 10 and 5 p.m. All right. And then we'll cover a little bit of the name and logo requirements as well. All right. But for those that do have the packet, if you do not have a packet, I ask that you all go ahead and grab one. But if you do, just follow with me. And we'll start at page 7, if you will, page 6. Earlier this morning, I asked that you all hold your questions just because we had a larger group. But again, if there's any questions at the time as we're going through, please go ahead and take the time to ask that question. All we ask is that you introduce yourself. We do have a microphone here, but introduce yourself and the, your name and the company in which you all are representing. And I don't want to deter you because we have a microphone, but I do encourage you to come forward just for public record. You had a question already, ma'am, so. Sure, you can do that. Well, what is it again? Yeah, we're gonna need a microphone. Yeah, okay.
Aw. Just a quick question about that last line, bonfires and special events excluded. I know you and I had talked about this, and in the past, it was that we were to have everything logoed and tagged.
Yeah.
That has been changed?
Your umbrellas and your chairs need
Yes.
to be logoed and tagged. Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
Or logoed. But if it's, yeah, special event and bonfire is excluded.
well, now mine will be so pretty and logoed. They're gonna look so nice out there. Okay, thanks.
Okay. All right, so page 6. Page 6, we're looking at animals on beach here, paragraph C. It says here that all permits issued shall be for a period of 1 year and shall expire at midnight on July 3rd, on July 31st. Okay? If you go down on that same page, overnight camping, it shall be unlawful to camp overnight on any beach, beach access, dune system, parking area, any other areas owned, leased, dedicated to, or maintained by the county. Okay? Overnight camping. Any questions? No questions? Okay. Next page, page 7. And again, I don't want to insult anybody. So do you think I need to read through each line? No, okay. Any questions on page 7? Okay. Got it. And the reason why, again, I think this is so important is because all of the things that, again, I'm new. This is my first season. But I've been out on the beach. I've seen some things. My officers keep me armed with the lessons learned, and so I've heard some things, all right? And I've seen lots of video already and pictures. And again, I just want to make sure that we are all on the same page and we're all for the same mission, right? And again, we need your support. And in order for us to get after our goal is to educate, right, through compliance. And so that's what it's all about. So I just want to make sure that we are all clear on what the changes are. So again, no changes on, no questions on page 7. There we go.
Yeah, okay.
Go ahead.
Katie Truax again. Number 9, the attendee and the attendant/permittee cannot leave the fire. Just a quick question about the definition there. You know how like last year y'all had to start putting for what I call the client's name on the permit with my name? Is that the permittee or am I the permittee? Does that make sense? Like if Jane Doe is my client.
Yes, she's the permit.
If my guy has to like go to the bathroom, as long as Jane Doe is at the fire, is that,
I believe that was intended, is that right, Tony?
Yeah, someone that has obtained a permit needs to be there.
okay,
We're not saying you have to be standing by the fire.
Yes.
When our officer pulls up there to do a bonfire check,
yeah,
as long as you're close enough that you see them and you start coming to them, they can see you coming,
Right.
that's at the fire. That's what we consider that the fire.
I I guess my question was like, if I was doing a fire for you, if you were there, would that be, okay, if your name's on the permit, that does not,
It's not an attendee.
Okay.
It's the attendant. Attendant or the permittee.
got it.
And when you
It was
put
that
the,
permittee word that I was confused about,
That's the lot.
but I hear you. Uh-huh.
vendor.
Okay. I've told my guys they cannot leave, and if they have a bathroom emergency, they need to tell the client and be back as soon as possible.
Yeah,
And I'm
our
assu-
officer-
I
our
know.
officer's gonna drive up
I know.
and start checking the bonfire. If they say, where's your
Yep.
vendor at?
They'll
If they
say-
we can see him in 2 hours.
Right.
then
That's not gonna be
a
my
problem.
guys.
But, as long as they say, they went to the bathroom and they stay there for a few minutes until not back, good to go.
Bueno.
We're not expecting you to sit right there with them, but you need to be close enough that you see them.
Okay. Because you asked that question, I do want to bring some attention to, because of the meeting from this morning, line 8, I believe it is. It says a working 5-pound fire extinguisher tagged in compliance shall be required on site for all beach bonfires at all times. And again, I know we discussed that a little bit this morning. What if we had 3 fires in the same vicinity, you know? That fire extinguisher is not required to extinguish your bonfire, all right? We wanted to make clear on that as well. But if it's within vicinity, that one fire extinguisher could serve those bonfires, all right? So again, we just wanted to make sure that we're all clear on that expectation as well and what that may look like for you, all right? All right, if no further questions here, let's go over to page 12. Any questions about tents? No questions about tents? Any questions about beach equipment? And we're talking about the traversing through the wet sand. Again, making sure that area is unobstructed. Any questions? No questions, okay. And page 13, we're talking about decals. All right, permit decals shall not be altered or modified. Any questions? Okay. All right, we'll continue on page 16. Any questions here? Page 16, any questions? Everybody's clear, okay. All right. Page 18, we're talking special events. All right. Because I feel like I want to do my job, just let me read this one. It says, no special events shall be held between Memorial Day and Labor Day between the hours of 10 a.m. through 5 p.m. with the exception of approved nonprofit organizations. So again, no questions. All right, page 19. Any questions on page 19? No, okay. Page 20. Give you some time to get there. Any questions? Okay. And the last change here, as we have recorded, page 21. It just carries over into from 20 to 21. But do we have any questions? Any questions about any change? Any questions, any concerns? No? Okay. All right. Well, hey, listen, I'll like to start the way that I close. Again, I know this is all new to me. Every day is new. I'm so looking forward to what this season has to offer and what it means to be a code compliance manager for you all here at the beach. But all I'm asking for is your support, okay? I really do need your support. We have we now have 4 supervisors, all right? And what I'm asking of them is to get out there and get to know you all, you know? And so we need that feedback, you know? How are our code officers serving you all and supporting you, all right, going forward? So please communicate, help us help you. Any questions for me? Sir, over to you.
All right, well, if we don't have any more questions, I think that's going to wrap it up. We appreciate you coming. If you come up with any questions, shoot Kim, Melanie an email, and Melanie's bad about it. I've been off for a few days. I came in today, she says, I've got a question. I said, it can't happen today, it's got to wait till tomorrow. So she agreed to wait till tomorrow for her questions, so I thank her for that. So if you do have any questions, just reach out to us and we'll get you an answer. You know, we will be doing a beach activities ordinance review again at the end of the year. We do it every year. So, you know, if you've got any ideas, you know, reach out. Kim tracks it all year long. When we come up on something that we think we need to address, we got a little folder we put it in so that we can remember that stuff. So if you see something, just reach out to Kim, let her know so that she can put it in that folder. And then when we start having our workshops and stuff, we'll go over that. So without anything else, anybody else got anything? We appreciate y'all coming. Have a good evening, and it's going to be a good summer.